One of the very important points that people have been discussing in this field is when to start therapies on these patients, especially with the high prevalence of the disease. We know for sure that patients with NAFL or simple steatosis, you don't need therapies right away on these patients. You better manage their comorbidities, ask them to lose weight if they're overweight, control the diabetes, but losing weight is the most important factor. Once you develop NASH, the current guidelines recommend treatment for NASH patients. This is the European as well as the American guidelines. They say you may start if you have a biopsy-proven NASH. Nevertheless, as I mentioned, in the last year and a half or so, and since the guidelines published, there are new emerging data that people with advanced fibrosis are the one with increased morbidities and mortalities. And therefore, we feel that people with significant or advanced fibrosis are the one who should be targeted for future therapies. And more so importantly, fibrosis needs to be reversed on these patients.
Besides lifestyle modifications and treatment of the risk factors, there's really no approved pharmacotherapy for NASH and advanced fibrosis. There are ongoing clinical trials, but otherwise we have very limited options right now besides what we spoke about. Hopefully in the future we will have some pharmacotherapy to aid in the resolution of NASH and advanced fibrosis, but right now we're just counting on lifestyle modifications mostly.
In terms of medications currently available, there are drugs that help people lose weight, and they are quite effective, and I recommend that people use those if necessary. Some studies have suggested that vitamin E may be helpful. There is a little bit of controversy about that. And another one is a medication for diabetes known as another medication for diabetes known as pioglitazone. Both of those were studied in a clinical trial. They make a small difference, really not anything like the value people get by simply improving their lifestyle and improving their overall health. In terms of medications that are currently in development, there are a number of drugs that are in development. Some of them have already failed. Some are still being tested. They address the components of NASH, which are fat accumulation, inflammation, and fibrosis, or laying down of scar tissue. One of the drugs has had positive results and may be released in 2020. And since many of these people have type 2 diabetes, metformin is a logical starting point. Some of the other medications are not quite as useful. The class I really like is the incretin agonists, which are currently approved for diabetes and for weight loss. They solve two problems at the same time. They have some side effects, but they are very effective in helping people with fatty liver, and an important clinical trial is going on right now. The incretin agonists have some side effects, and many people don't like those, but it definitely helps with blood sugar control, and it definitely helps with appetite control. As far as the drug that's currently under review by FDA, and that drug also has a number of side effects, and people will have to decide whether the side effects are worth the benefit. There are really two classes of people that need a liver transplant. Those that have advanced fibrosis, that is, they've progressed to cirrhosis with complications, or they've developed liver cancer. So dealing with liver cancer first, some people develop that fairly early, even before they have liver failure. It's very important to recognize advanced fibrosis early because we have to screen those people regularly. People who present with large cancers are really not easily managed. We don't transplant them, and they have to rely on chemotherapy that is partially effective. Recognizing cancer early allows us to treat the people, manage the cancer, and get them transplanted in time. As far as liver failure goes, the liver failure is based on how badly your liver is functioning. So those people have to be pretty ill before they get a transplant. And that means that they've had a long period where they may have had very severe health problems, multiple hospitalizations, severe malnutrition, depleted their family savings. So it's really a huge burden to get through all of that and then get a transplant. on the good side, the people that get transplanted usually have excellent outcomes. And so we expect a very high recovery rate and survival in those people.